So I had an idea. I was perusing Amazon a couple of months ago looking for a new romance to read that I hadn't seen people previously talking about, and I came across this book called Cruel Prince, and I thought to myself, that sounds awfully familiar. It also got me thinking, I wonder how many other indie romances have the same name or share a name with a young adult book, and I came across quite a few. So the whole idea of this video is that I am going to read indie romances that share the same name with young adult books. Is this sort of gimmicky? Yes. Do I care? No. I figured this could be a fun experiment, and we can see if these books that share the same name have any similarities. And I don't know, it just sounded like a good idea. We're gonna go for it. So I'll talk to you guys about the 3 books that I have selected that share a name with young adult books, and then we can just get into the vlog portion of this video. So first book obviously that we're going to be reading for this video is Cruel Prince, which shares a name with Holly Black's The Cruel Prince. They seem to have like a little bit of a similarity when I was comparing the synopses. Obviously this version is just a typical new adult bully romance, but it does share the bullying aspects with The Cruel Prince, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense, it's sort of in the name, but I'll be interested to see how that one goes and how many similarities it shares with The Cruel Prince. The next book on my list is Queen of Shadows, which shares a name with the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, and this one doesn't seem to share that many similarities, although I will say that our main character seems kind of Aylin-esque. This story is about a girl in Austin. I think it's a paranormal romance, and she is the lead singer or front woman for a band, and she is kind of, I don't know if she's fallen on hard times or what, but I know she gets in leagues with a vampire, so that should be interesting. I don't know, maybe there's gonna be like an Aylin Rowan situation, we shall see. And then lastly we have Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. Now, I thought of the idea for this video before all of that shit came out about Lucia Franco, so I will acknowledge that I don't necessarily support her as an author or recommend her books, but this was too interesting to pass up, especially since the cover kind of reminded me a lot of Hush Hush, the young adult book, which centers on an angel named Patch, and the cover for Hush Hush by Lucia Franco has feathers on it. So while I don't think the plots share that many similarities, I'll be interested to give this one a try. From what I can tell, the synopsis is pretty vague, but it seems like it's going to be potentially a sugar daddy situation, so that might be interesting. So now that I've told you the books that we're going to be reading, let's get reading. I'm 3% into this book and I'm just astounded at how stupid it is. Our main character Dylan just arrived to town and she apparently has history with this guy in this town, even though she like didn't go to high school with. I'm so confused. I don't know how they know each other. I'm sure we'll figure it out later, but so stupid. The intro was kind of dark though because the hero Jace, his brother, I think committed suicide. It was because he got bullied, so I think his brother's gonna be a bully because of that. And I'm assuming he's gonna bully Dylan, the girl. But just this intro has been so stupid. Her step cousin got his dick out, so there's just a lot to unpack, okay? How is it possible to think a book is really stupid but like simultaneously really enjoy it? Because I'm actually really liking this book. I wasn't very coherent yesterday, but essentially the book is about Jace and Dylan. Dylan's the girl, Jace is the guy. They used to go to school together when they were younger. They were best friends, I think through elementary school and middle school. And then in high school, Dylan goes away for a while and then she comes back. I think they had a falling out right before she left. I'm actually just liking the details that they're including. I like that Jace is actually half Indian, which is pretty cool. I don't feel like I ever see super diverse new adult books, so I really appreciate that detail. I think a lot of shit's really stupid, but I'm liking some of the details that are included, if that makes sense. I mean, the high school is called Royal Hearts Academy, so it's like hard not to roll my eyes, but at the same time I think the story is fun, if a little bit stupid. I mean, if you like fan fiction and you like tropes and stuff, I think you'll enjoy this. There was just a scene where it's set in the past and Dylan and Jace are talking and Dylan has a big crush on Jace. She's like, what, am I not pretty enough for you? And he's like, no, that's not it. Like, I don't, it's cute and I like it and it's stupid, but I don't know. I didn't expect to enjoy this, but I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it. I'm supposed to be editing right now actually, but I decided that I wanted to read instead. So that's how you know that the book's like pretty solid. So my plan is to finish this book tonight. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. I say tonight. I mean, it's like midday right now. It's noon. Making pizza tots for lunch. And I think my goal is to finish this by like 5. I mean, I definitely can do that. But I've also been fucking around a lot. This whole pandemic thing, like I am being productive for the most part. Like I'm getting my actual work done for work and I'm editing and like getting videos posted, but it's been harder to read than I had anticipated, and I don't have any audiobooks for any of these books, so I don't know how this is gonna go, but I'm liking this book so far and I'll keep you guys posted as the stupid shit continues to happen. So much to say, so much has happened since we last spoke. I'm like 70%-ish into this book and it's sending me quite a bit. There have been a lot of encounters between our hero and heroine now, and you can tell he's just kind of a dick, and I can understand understand why people don't like this book because he's unrepentant, and I'm pretty sure there's not going to be groveling or anything to really make up for his behaviors. I'm not that upset about it though. The steamier scenes have been raunchy as fuck, and I'm like very here for that. I didn't know what to expect, like what level of smut to expect. Sorry, my lamp's on in the background, but it's been good. It's been good. Come on. Although a lot of the choices that are being made are strange. Our main character has beaten up a girl quite a few times, like the same girl multiple times. She's an aggressor, I guess, like the girl is bullying her and so she beats her up in retaliation, which is kind of a whole thing. So there's a lot of like body shaming, girl hate, all that good stuff. And then like I just got to a scene where the hero and heroine finally have like their first sexual encounter, and it's on the hood of a car, and then the guy just like walks away, and I'm pretty sure it's his car. So like, did he just leave his car with her? I don't know. Very confusing. And then there's also sort of a love triangle situation, because of course there has to be a jealousy component to this, because like what would this book be without jealousy? So Dylan has this guy named Tommy that she knew from a long time ago, and Tommy kind of always liked her, and he's just kind of a dick as well, we found out. He abandons her at a marina because she like won't put out or whatever, because you know, like typical teen movie bullshit. She ends up getting picked up by Jace and like her cousin and some friends and stuff, and they're like, oh, like we're gonna terrorize this motherfucker, and she's like, no, you can leave him alone, whatever. And then Jace proceeds to pee in this guy's gas tank of his car, and I think he's gonna fuck his car up too, so it should be interesting. I think there's gonna be some sort of rumble that goes down at some point. I think Tommy versus Jace is gonna happen. They're on rival football teams, at least I think so. I know Jace's little brother is on the football team, but I'm assuming Jace probably is too. It's interesting. It's like really objectively a bad book, but I'm liking it, so what does that say about me? At this point I think I'd give this book 3 stars because it's fun, I'm enjoying it, but it's not good. Why does it look like I'm about to be interrogated? This lighting is really bad. Okay, I finished Cruel Prince, and I think I am gonna give it 3 stars. It was enjoyable as fuck. So stupid, so many bad plot twists, but I enjoyed it. And if you like stupid shit like I do, I think you might enjoy this. It's set in high school, which I think was probably the wrong choice. I think it's the most glaringly obvious poor choice in this book. The events that happen in the present, I could maybe see happening in high school, like in a teen drama, but the events that take place in the past took place when the characters were in 8th grade, and some of the characters were younger than that. I just don't think that the actions of those characters back then really lined up with them being in middle school. I think the story would have made more sense had the flashbacks been high school and then they were in college for the present day. You know, you can't get everything that you wish for, and that is okay. But I guess now we can kind of compare this to The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. There were similarities in that there's bullying, I guess. The main plot of this book hinges on miscommunication, so I guess that's not really the same as The Cruel Prince. And let's be real, I think the idea for this video was pretty tenuous to begin with, like trying to compare these books. They're not the same. But I do think if you like The Cruel Prince by Holly Black and you also like shitty new adult books like I do, you probably will enjoy this. Is it laughable and fanfiction-y in like the worst possible way? Absolutely. But I know some of you guys have bad taste like I do, so anyway. Not upset about it. I think now I'm going to move on to Queen of Shadows next, because that one seems decent. I think Hush Hush by Lucia Franco is going to be a fucking train wreck, but I have some hopes for Queen of Shadows. Probably going to start that tomorrow because I need to edit this episode of the Dumb Bitch Book Club, but tomorrow we're going to start in on that, and it's going to be a time. The plot seems interesting, and there's vampires. I like vampires, so we'll see. Hello friends, it is, I don't even fucking know what day it is. I think it's Thursday. It's noon, and I didn't just wake up, but I've been kind of fucking around. I did some work, and now I am chilling, and I'm ready to start in on Queen of Shadows. But before I do that, I figured I'd like do my hair, talk to you about the little tiny bit that I've read of Queen of Shadows so far. And to be honest, I really want to read anything but this book at this point in time. I have just started Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren for another video that I'm doing, and I'm in the middle of a new adult romance that I'm reading like just for fun. And so this really is like not something that I am interested in reading, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I think the reason that I'm like not super hyped about it is because I can't tell if the like details she's including are like name droppy, or if I'm just sensitive to it because I actually live in Austin and that's where this book is set. But I'm just like, every time she mentions 6th Street or Lamar, I'm just like, Stop talking, please. Also, hi, hello, this is my natural hair. I like to fix the front of it kind of so it doesn't look quite as stupid. I pretty much never go anywhere with my natural hair because I just feel like it's super unruly and like not great. So I usually blow dry my hair, curl it, you know, make it look like nice and smooth. But today I'm just gonna like touch a couple of pieces up and call it a fucking day because I'm staying home and no one cares. But I do like to feel more like myself. I'd like to know, I know this is not that like relevant to the actual content of this video, but what do you guys do when you are facing a global pandemic? Like, what has been your coping mechanism? I've tried to like get up every day and try to stick to a routine. Like I get up at 8 to start working, or at least to get online. I usually work until about noon. Then I stay online obviously until 5 o'clock, but I will start reading, make sure that my bed's made, make sure that I have like makeup on and just like feel normal, I guess. Like I try to do as many things as I can to make me feel normal, but I've got to be honest with you guys, my reading and like video creation and just my life in general has been super weird since this whole thing started. And I don't know, I just feel like I wanted to be open with you guys about that because that's sort of where I'm at right now. As far as this book goes, I feel like it is reminding me a fair amount to at least the beginning of Throne of Glass. I mean, this one's called Queen of Shadows, but like Queen of Shadows is like the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. So I'm not surprised, I guess, because this is a urban fantasy and urban fantasies tend to have kind of annoying, like stereotypically strong female main characters. Well, I honestly probably should have rethought this angle, but they don't actually look that scary, okay? I don't know why I feel like I needed to like defend myself, but I'm just not surprised at the comparisons. To be honest, like I said at the beginning, this was kind of a gimmicky video to start with, but I am noticing more similarities than I had anticipated in these books. So maybe I was gonna try to quote Romeo and Juliet and like, you know, Rose by any other name bullshit, but you get it, you know? Maybe names mean something. Hello friends, it is Saturday. I think the last time we talked, it was Thursday. I was like getting ready to read this book and then I just didn't. Can't even remember what I did the rest of Thursday. I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just like push it off. I don't really want to read. And then yesterday I had to help my sister like emergency evacuate from her dorm room. She goes to college at the University of Texas and they shut down everything. So she had to move all her belongings into my apartment and I helped her do that, which wasn't too bad. It'll be nice having her here. I did that. I also went to Target yesterday. It was like the first time I had gone out in like 7 days and I got this like comfy matching athleisure outfit. Not even athleisure, it's just like leisure, I guess. I got a Switch, which is over there. I don't want to pick it up, but it's yellow and it's really cute. And I was playing Animal Crossing yesterday and I just didn't feel like reading. However, I did pick up Queen of Shadows today and I swiftly DNF'd it at 4%, which is kind of crazy. I ended up spending like $5 on this book, which is kind of a lot, I think, for an ebook. I normally get like cheap indie books for like $1, so that was irritating. I feel like I wasted my money, but it was bad. There was a lot of name dropping. I know that I mentioned briefly like not knowing whether or not I was just like sensitive to it, but I didn't like the way certain things were handled. I didn't like the way the author referred to certain areas in Austin. I don't know that she used the word ghetto, but I don't know. I didn't like the way that she was referring to certain parts of the city as like poor and gross. I didn't like that. And then on top of that, there was a very brutal and graphic rape scene very, very early on in the book, which I had not read about in any of the trigger warnings for this book. And I personally am just not in a place mentally where I can stomach that sort of thing right now. I just want to be reading like fun, happy romances or like steamy romances. I don't need any dark trauma at the moment. That's just like not what I'm in the mood for. So yeah, she ends up I think getting attacked and she wakes up and those people are still there and they're gonna brutalize her some more, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need this right now. So yeah, it's hard to tell if I'm just like sensitive to it right now or if this is just really like gross, but it's really just gross. I think she eventually gets saved by the hero. That's like one of my least favorite tropes though, the whole like getting assaulted or almost getting assaulted and then being saved by the hero of the book. I don't really appreciate that. It's overdone and it's gross. I know rape happens, but I just don't want it in my romance. So I can't honestly tell you how similar or different it is from Queen of Shadows YA book. I will say though, it kind of, her mindset, our main character's mindset, essentially, I think the plot of this book, I don't think I really explained it very well. She is a musician who can manipulate emotions and she doesn't do it willingly, but she plays music, and if she is sad, even if she's playing a happy tune, everybody around her is going to be sad. She can also pick up on other people's emotions and read them. We open up and she is kind of dealing with the repercussions of this, and she she has like drug abuse issues to try to kind of calm all of the voices and emotions that she's hearing from other people, which was dark. And then again, the rape scene happened. I think she gets saved by a vampire and then eventually maybe turned into a vampire. I'm not really sure because I didn't continue reading, but I wouldn't recommend this book. I mean, like, pick it up if it interests you. I know some of my friends on Goodreads liked it, so maybe it does get better, but I don't know, I could not overlook that. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about this book anymore. I'm going to start in on Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. This one had actually bad ratings, which is interesting. Queen of Shadows had good ratings. I had to DNF it. This one has bad ratings. Maybe that means I'll enjoy it. I mean, that's sort of what happened with Cruel Prince, and I ended up liking that, so maybe I'll like this book. I don't have high hopes, but I'm hoping I don't have to DNF this one because that would be a complete fucking fail of a video. Oh, you want to say hi? No? Happy Sunday. Sorry if the lighting's weird. It's like 4:50 and there is no sun in sight, so the natural lighting is kind of ugly in here, but it's fine. We're gonna carry on. We've just got cats galore today, man. They're just... What are you doing? Basically, I got 50% into Hush Hush and I decided to DNF it. I know.
But imagine how tired we are. Imagine how tired we are of it.
This video is sort of a mess, but I feel like posting it because I feel like my commentary for the first book was decent enough, and I did like it, and I did want to encourage you guys to maybe read it if you're into the same shit that I am, so I don't feel that bad. We can talk about this book though and talk about why I DNF'd it. So Hush Hush by Lucia Franco is not a story about angels like the YA book by Becca Fitzpatrick is. This one is indeed about a female escort, sex work essentially. My issue is that I understand having a character go from not really understanding what sex work is all about to being a sex worker can come with maybe some misconceptions being answered, but I don't feel like it was done in a respectful way, and I feel like our main character was just sort of a bitch. So her name is Aubrey and her roommate Natalie is a sex worker. She doesn't know that Natalie has been a sex worker for 2 years. Whenever Natalie ends up telling her, hey, I am an escort and this is what I do, Aubrey kind of jokes about it and makes some kind of gross remarks that I don't necessarily enjoy. She says, Nat, are you trying to tell me you're a rent-a-hoe? Like I said, I understand that eventually she goes from a place of like not understanding to understanding, but I didn't get far enough to tell if she like makes that full transformation. She does enter into sex work. I got that far, but not far enough to know if she is doing this from a place of empowerment and actually is going to like address those misconceptions. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen in this book. And while I'm not a sex worker and I don't know what is and isn't offensive to sex workers, I feel like I can safely say that a lot of the things that Aubrey says are offensive, and I just didn't like a lot of the verbiage around sex work. And on top of that, I feel like the first few chapters of this book are very stupid and trivial, and I know a lot of people dislike Aubrey as a main character, which I can totally understand. She really reminds me of a girl that I know who basically went to New York and kind of has a similar lifestyle to these two girls. She's not a sex worker or anything, but some of the clubs that are mentioned, the girl I know like goes to these clubs and stuff, so it felt realistic in that sense. I think a lot of people said that Aubrey wasn't a realistic character, and I definitely don't agree with that, but she was just like kind of an airhead, which is interesting because her whole reason for getting into sex work is that she's not making enough money to make ends meet. Her parents are dead, her grandma is still alive, she wants to pay for her grandmother and for her own schooling, and yet she didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. It's not like she was like, I want to be an attorney, I have to make sure that that happens, like I'm really passionate about school, and you know, it was just kind of hard to sympathize with her. And I'm not saying you have to have some like good reason to go into any profession or like, you know, to go into sex work. It just didn't feel like she was serious about anything in her life. I don't know, I just didn't care for her, and the conversations and the like one night stand that she has at the beginning of the book just felt very strange. And I guess I can say that it is not like anything else I've ever read before, so if you're looking for something new and zesty, this might be it. But let me read you a few quotes that stood out to me. The first one, the girls go out and have one night stands. This is before Aubrey becomes a sex worker. I think Natalie says something like, they don't call it the meatpacking district for nothing. This is after they both have hookups in the back of a club. And then what really irritated me is that in the beginning of this book, Aubrey goes for her tryout kind of thing to the madam of this club, essentially. It's not really a club, I can't even remember what they call it, but it's where you kind of get hooked up with very rich men to, you know, perform services or whatever. The lady that's in charge of it basically like feels up on her boobs and starts touching her and like makes her come essentially as part of the interview, which I thought was so bizarre. I mean, I don't know how these things work, but that doesn't seem like something that would happen in this sort of scenario. Super, super weird. But after that happens, Aubrey makes the comment, sink or swim, right? And then Natalie chimes in with, for me tonight, it's bitter swallow. I didn't like that comment either. Oh, I feel like I'm talking about a bunch of random disparate things right now, but I feel like this book was a mess, like from what I could read of it. The encounters that Aubrey has are very weird until she gets to like the perfect man who I think is going to make her into a submissive, which is fine. And I know that that's something that is a big part of other people's sex lives and whatever, but it's just so common in erotica and romance, especially shit written before 2015, and I'm just kind of over it. Like, I don't care about the rich billionaire making you into his submissive. I've read it a million times and I'm done with it. 2 irritating main characters, a billionaire that I didn't give a shit about. None of this book felt respectful or particularly good. So I'm glad to not have to finish it. I almost like skimmed through the last part of the book because I wanted to see what happens. The guy too that she is hooking up with is married, and she obviously has no say in her clients. I mean, like, she could turn him down for a second date, I guess, but if the money's good, you're not supposed to question it. I don't know. The whole thing is just interesting. Wasn't for me. Let's just put it that way. If this idea intrigues you, maybe this is a book for you. It's certainly not a book for me. It's not much at all like Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick, so there's that. But to recap, let's talk about, in summary, the 3 books that I read for this video. Again, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't apologize because, like, it's a crazy time and I don't have to defend myself, but I feel compelled to do so because I like to provide at least interesting content if I'm gonna post something. This wasn't that, like, zesty. But anyway, the first book I read, obviously, was Cruel Prince by A. Jade, and I gave this book 3 stars. I really enjoyed this. I think it is kind of a stupid, ditzy new adult romance, but I'm really excited to read the sequel, which is called Ruthless Night. I'm just gonna read that for fun because I'm excited about it. I don't know. I don't have much else to say besides the stuff I said at the beginning of this video, but I liked it. I feel weird saying that because none of my mutuals on Goodreads liked it, but like, I liked it, so that's all that matters. I next attempted to read Queen of Shadows, and if there's anything I can say, it'd be stay away from this book. No. Just no. And then the last book obviously is Hush Hush, which we just talked about, and I also DNF'd that one, so 1 out of 3 ain't bad. You never know what you're gonna get with romances that you find on Amazon. Sadly, 2 of these were kind of a fail, but maybe I'll do a video like this again in the future if I can find other books that have the same names as YA books, and maybe those ones will be better than these ones. One can only hope. But that's it for me. I'm gonna go. I have other videos that are hopefully gonna be more successful than this one that I am filming that are coming your way soon. So I love you guys so much, and until next time.